Altair.
Yeah!
Let's go.
Hey,
What's up?
we excited, baby. Y'all don't understand. This thing is a dream come true. I'm excited. Anyway, welcome to the Marriage Altaer podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Don. For those who don't know me,
I'm Ernestine.
I'm Hope.
And I am Cadero, and the Marriage Altaer podcast, our mission is simple. We're here to empower individuals through wisdom and experience to grow stronger in relationships and marriages. So we're excited.
Absolutely.
We're excited.
We excited.
You know?
Yes.
We amped.
Love that. Love that. All right, so before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe,
Yes.
all of the good things.
All of the good
Follow us
things.
on all of our socials, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
right.
And just know that every single week, so we made a plan that every week, every Wednesday, not W-E-D, but W-I-N-S, Wednesday, because those are the days that we're going to help you win in your marriage and relationships.
Let's
That's
go.
right.
We amped about that, baby.
Yeah, every Wednesday at 12
12 o'clock.
Yep.
Central.
12 o'clock Central, we dropping
Yeah.
a video every single week, episode every Wednesday.
Let's go.
Yeah, and like we
Excited.
said, make sure you follow us on all of our socials at the
Yes.
Marriage Altaer, and that is spelled. Altair is not spelled the way you think. It's
right.
spelled A-L-T-A-E-R.
Little bait and switch.
Yeah.
Little bait and switch.
That was not an
Little baby
accident.
switch.
That was not an accident.
That was not a typo.
Nope.
It is
No.
spelled that way on
That's real.
purpose. Why
Yeah.
is it spelled that way?
Why is the Marriage Altaer spelled A-L-T-A-E-R? Let me tell you why. So
Break
it's a
it
playoff
down.
of two words, right?
Break it down.
So you have altar,
Uh-huh.
which is A-L-T-E-R, and you got the altar, A-L-T-A-R. So altar, whenever you get married, whenever you enter into a relationship, whenever you are partnering with someone in life, there is an altering that has to happen. There is a sacrificial thing that has to happen within you when you're partnering with a person. So when the Bible says that two become one, so there is a part of me that has to be altered in order for her to be invited in, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so that's the altering, the ER, right? But then the AR is, if you know, the Bible says that every good and perfect gift comes from above. And whenever you do something according to the standard of when God created it or how He created it, that's an act of worship. So we know that the marriage bed is an altar
That
of worship.
part.
When you come together, the Bible says to be fruitful and to multiply.
Say it again. He said what?
Fruitful
Oh.
and to multiply.
Okay.
And whenever you do that,
back.
whenever you do anything according to how God created it,
Yeah.
that is worship.
Yeah.
So there is an altar in your marriage. Your bedroom is an
I mean,
altar.
we worship this morning.
We
If
come
I'm-
on
you know
and
what I'm saying?
worship. Hey, we worship.
What?
Just saying.
So yeah, that's the play on the words. And so we were faced with the option of, man, do we do ER? Do we do AR?
Yeah.
And we was like, you know what? Let's do both.
Yeah.
And so here
Yeah.
it is, the marriage
Here it is.
altar. So yeah.
Hi.
So we actually have an icebreaker that we want to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Icebreaker.
We have an
Okay.
icebreaker, and so this is for us, but it's also for you because you don't know a lot about us.
Yeah.
So we
Yes.
want to just do something creative that's going to make you or allow you to join in and feel like you're a part. Because remember, it's not just a podcast; it's a community.
That
You
part.
are a part of our community, and so make sure you tell your people. I know we've said that already, but make sure you
Yeah.
tell your people because this is not just something you're going to come and laugh, and you're going to cry. You might laugh. You're going to feel hope. You're going to feel joy. You're going to feel anger. You're going to get a
Yeah.
lot of mixed emotions, but it's going to be
love it.
good and it's going to be for your growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a community. So
Not just married.
not just married
true.
folk.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're even wondering if you want to be married, if you're in a relationship, right? It doesn't matter. We're gonna talk about
Everything.
parenting
Yep.
Yeah.
because you got different levels of experience in this room, and we're gonna talk about all of it. So it's not just marriage relationships. That's the key. That's the foundation.
Yes.
But it's all gonna talk about the marriage. I mean the relationship with your kids.
Yeah.
The relationship with your neighbor. Like we're gonna talk about all the kinds of relationships, but the focus is marriage.
Okay, yes. Don't give them too much. Let's
I
start
ain't
with this
gonna give 'em too
icebreaker.
much.
Okay.
Icebreaker.
Icebreaker. Okay, so many of us have heard of two truths and a lie,
Yeah.
right?
Truth and a lie.
So we thought this would be fun. We're gonna tell our two truths and our lie. Y'all have to figure out what our lie is,
Okay.
and then we're gonna take turns, and it's gonna be y'all's turn.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so
right.
truth number one, or no,
No.
that's not how you play it. Hold
Truth
on.
number one.
Truth number one.
right.
Let me just
Okay,
say it.
Cadero.
Let me just do it.
You know,
I was
Here's
about
our
to
first
give away
thing.
the answer.
Here's our-
Let me do it.
Let me
you
do
know,
it.
I've
She
never
already-
played before,
Oh,
so I was like, okay, is that what we do? All right.
Truth number one.
Let me do it.
That ain't how we do it. Two
Okay, you
truths
take
and a
it
lie.
over.
All right, here we go.
So
Here's our
okay,
three.
okay. So for those of you who don't know how you play two truths
Yeah,
and a
please tell me.
yeah, we're gonna help the audience, right? How you play two truths and a lie? You have to list three things about or three I want to say facts, but 3 things about yourself.
Yep.
And one of these 3 things is a lie. You have to guess which one is the lie.
Yep.
So just so you're tracking with us, he's going to give us 3 things about them that me and Ernestine are going to try to guess that we don't know. We did not plan this out beforehand.
We don't know.
We did not.
And we're going to have to guess which one is the lie.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
Let's roll.
Take it away, Kadero.
Number 1. Hope and I were a singing and dancing duo in church and ministry. Number 2, we had a wedding of 150 guests, and we only paid $2,500. And number 3, we celebrated our 5-year anniversary in Jamaica.
What y'all think?
Do they need to repeat?
I remember.
She said, do they need to repeat?
What, for us or for y'all?
For us, but I think we got it. But what do you think about this little singing, dancing?
I'm
business?
not feeling the whole Barnum and Bailey ring.
Not the
Wait, did y'all have
Really?
a drum or anything? Or?
You're asking too many questions.
Too many questions.
You know, I'm going to say number 1 is the lie.
Yeah.
Y'all wasn't the Ringling Brothers Circus
You don't think so?
in church.
You don't think
Oh,
so?
Lord.
What do you think?
The lie was our 5-year anniversary went to Jamaica. We did not.
Okay, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
Y'all was in church.
Wait. How old were y'all when y'all were doing this? So we can visualize this.
From,
us to that moment.
From 19 to about 21.
Y'all was dancing in church together?
She
Now,
was
let's
singing.
clarify. I would sing and Kadero
I
would
would
actually
mime.
mime.
Okay.
Fun fact. This is not our lie or truth.
Okay.
I used to mime.
Did you really?
I absolutely used to
Y'all
mime.
know my husband's extra.
Yes.
So
I
you could
definitely
he
used to
was
mime.
giving his all, I'm sure.
Listen, I'm telling you, bro.
What was your go-to mime song? Like, what was the one?
Oh, man. So there wasn't a go-to song, but there was a go-to artist. We did every Fred Hammond song you could think of.
Fred is so good.
We did No Weapon.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did Psalms 119. We
Yes.
did The Prodigal. We done all of them.
Now, were you in a group or was it like solo?
So it started off with a group of us, and then people started dropping off, and so for
That people started dropping off.
they did
God.
just started dropping off, right? For a long time, it was just me by myself.
Really?
I was the mime team.
He was up there. I'm
Okay.
sure.
And I had to go to
Ernestine.
practice on Saturday nights with the guy who was over the mime team, and I would practice. And it was like he was like my football coach, but it was mine. He was like, no, we gotta do that again.
Mime
You gotta, this is worship, baby. You gotta do it right. Shout out to Brother Barnes. Brother Barnes had me in there sweating. No, do it again.
I
Excellence.
think-
We gotta do excellence.
I think if we ever take this podcast on the road, y'all two need to open up and mime.
Oh,
and I think that would just take the cake.
Okay, we're gonna make a promise right now. If we do a Marriage Altaer podcast tour, our promise, and I did not consult with this man.
He did not. Not at all. Because now I'm feeling bad. I just threw the idea
We
out
will
there.
mime for y'all.
Wow.
Kadero said he about to drop off like the other people drop.
So what does that mean?
I can bring it
What does
back
that
out.
mean?
I can bring it
What
back
that
out.
means is if you really want to see us mime, you got to get us on the road.
Get
That's
us on
right.
the road.
You got to tell your friends, let's get this podcast, YouTube channel jumping.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram or whatever.
All
And
of
if
that.
y'all really want to see us mime, that will be that's what we got you. We
You
got
know he's gonna be trying to outdo you.
He went in the box real quick. I love that. Okay,
Hilarious.
y'all's turn.
All right. So I will say the 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this checking because the whole little scenario with him.
No,
She
we-
makes sure she's playing right.
So here's our truth.
Right?
Okay.
I can't.
The first is we've been married for 16 years. The second is a death brought us together. And the third is Dawn's father was married to my mother in the 70s. They're not still married.
Well, hey, we got to insert
you stop?
1 hour later.
Why you stop the music? I was finna get with you. You know I love to bounce my shoulders. Shoulders. They look a little stumped.
They
don't
stomp.
Yeah.
Times
All right.
Okay. We just playing it back.
Yeah.
You know, we trying to
which I knew
remember,
y'all was gonna do.
We trying to
remember
play it
some
back.
things.
Okay.
The first
First
one
one is a lie.
is a lie.
What did we say?
We've been married 16 years.
Okay, final answer?
Yes.
Do you want
Yeah.
me to do this part?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Survey says wrong.
No, then y'all lied.
Nope.
Somebody lied.
Nope.
Because when we went to eat at Uncle Julio's.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all said 17, 16. Was it?
We're coming up on 17 years.
December 1st will be 17 years.
So we are technically 16 years.
Your dad, your mom, that's real, right?
No, it's reversed.
It wasn't.
Oh!
Okay,
yeah. You saw how we did that?
Y'all are real tricky.
Well, yeah,
I know it was that.
Okay, so we even then.
Huh?
No, y'all was wrong too, though.
Yeah, y'all was wrong.
Well, you right.
About that. You know, I don't focus on the past. That's why I forgot.
Okay, the present. Okay.
So this might actually be a good segue into our story.
Yes, please enlighten us.
So, for those who are following along, the lie was that my dad was married to Ernestine's mom. The actual truth is that my mom was married to Ernestine's dad
in the 70s.
In the 70s.
So crazy.
Now before you start getting all weird,
Because the first thing I'm like, hold on.
So y'all brother and sister.
Right.
No.
we get this all. I can't say we get it all the time because we don't always share the story. But there has been times where we have shared the story, and you can see the struggle in people's eyes.
Yeah.
They're
They're
like,
like,
Because I know when y'all told us we were struggling.
We were
I was
struggling.
trying to piece
Listen,
it
wait a
together.
minute.
hey, and you try not to make it seem obvious, so you were like, okay,
Okay. All
okay,
right.
so
I'ma just let him keep
so wait,
going.
so
Just keep
your
talking.
dad.
And
So
Yeah.
let me give the background.
get the background back.
So, in the 70s, my mother was married to her father. They had 2 children, and when they got divorced, which was obviously before me and Ernestine was born, they both went and remarried.
They married different people.
They went and remarried other people. So my mom married my father before I was born. Same thing with her dad married her mom. They both got pregnant and had us 6 months apart.
Yeah.
so crazy.
So I'm a cougar.
Wow.
So 6 months older.
She's
than
6
me.
months older than me.
That's cool. She a
that.
year older than me.
You know what I'm talking about?
I mean,
Out here robbing the cradle, boy. It's the women.
right.
It's the women. You talk about the men. Look at the women. So, but yeah, so my our parents got remarried to other people, had us 6 months apart, and so here's the thing, because remember they had 2 children before us, which means Ernestine and I share siblings.
Yeah.
Now let me make it clear again, because I know somebody is still struggling.
Yeah, somebody is still struggling.
We are not related.
Right.
We do not have the same
We do
mother
not have the same mother
or father.
Or father. We are complete. It just so happens that our parents was in a little bit of a fling, and it didn't work.
A little bit of.
But here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
This is a great thing about purpose. It didn't work because we needed to work.
Hello.
Okay, you went deep.
You know what I'm saying? I went all the way down here. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh, I
They
love
couldn't work because
Yeah, y'all
we
had to
needed to
work.
work because God knew that He needed to bring us. Now I'm already going in.
that. See what I'm
And
saying?
He needed to bring us here for this moment because somebody needed to hear our story.
Yeah.
And so,
That's good.
but yeah, so that's kind of how we came here. And so we grew up. And the thing is, we grew up, though we had siblings, our shared siblings, we grew up never never knowing each
That's-
other.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
I
That's
recall
wild.
one time my father went by your mom's house and I was sitting in the car. I recall seeing a little boy playing in the yard. I now know that was you, but I have a memory of seeing that. And then years later, I remember one day my mom, maybe we were like 11, 12. My mom had went to your mom's house to talk. And I remember seeing you down the hallway, like walking by, but we never spoke until 2006 when the brother that we shared passed away.
Passed away. So his name was Eric. 2006, it was a Sunday morning. He passed away suddenly. Just circumstances happened. He passed that morning. Completely unexpected. The blessing in it is I was able to talk with him the day before he died, which I hadn't talked to him before that in 6 months. And we talked, and let me say this too. We never talk on the phone. He wasn't a phone talker.
Yeah.
But we talked for like over an hour. First time in history.
Wow.
And I said, I used to do music back then. And I told him, and my whole family is musical. Even Ernestine's musical. And I told him, I said, bro, next time I'm in town, because we lived in 2 different cities. Next time I'm in town, we got to do some music together. I'm going to bring my little rig and we'll make some music together. He's like, bet. And the next morning he passed.
Well, I want to say also he had reached out to me too.
Yeah.
Like a couple days before. So I had the opportunity to talk to him too.
My mom thought or felt like maybe he knew. You know how you can know without knowing consciously? It's like something in you. And he was just checking in with people. Because my mom said that he went by her house too. And she was like, what you need? And he's like, Mom, I don't want nothing. I just came to say hey. She's like, oh, you came to say. So it's like his spirit knew something was going on without him consciously knowing.
Yeah.
And so, but where was I?
Talking about how y'all met.
No. But I was on.
You said you got the chance to talk to him, and then he passed the next.
He passed, but there was a reason why I was leaving.
Because you're talking about y'all, I guess, at the funeral?
Funeral, how we met. Yeah, got you. So I'm in town. I'm at my mom's house.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting outside, just hanging out, right? And so Ernestine pulls up in the car and gets out. First time I've ever, to my knowledge, seen her. Mm-hmm. And there was no, I had a girlfriend at the time. Let me add that. Because later on the story is going to try to get turned a certain kind of way.
And I would also like to say that I didn't know that he had a girlfriend.
Okay, cool.
I just put it out there.
Yeah. Just make
What's about to go down?
I had a girl. I didn't know he had a girl.
Okay,
clarification.
Yes, I had a girlfriend. And so Ernestine, so what I'm saying is, when we met, there was no like, hey, what's up? Like it wasn't on that. It was just like, oh, hey. And so I said, hey, are you here for the t-shirt? Or I think she told me she was here for the t-shirts. My sister was selling, black folk, we gonna sell some t-shirts.
I was wondering where the t-shirts fit in.
Like, we do a funeral
church
in memory of
all my black people.
Was his face on the?
Yes. He had with the heavenly clouds. Yeah, we gonna do that.
Yeah, we are.
We gonna
Yeah.
we gonna put some folk in heaven.
Yeah, at the gate.
Put him on the shirt.
And we gonna put them, and if we really feeling snazzy, we might give them some wings.
Yeah. I can't.
We might give them some wings.
I can't.
So my sister was selling shirts, and Ernestine pulls up, but my sister, her name is Latasha, and now she's gonna kill me because technically we found out in our adult years that her name is actually pronounced Latashia. She found that out in her adult years too, because my mama finally told her it's Latashia.
That's like my sister.
Yeah. But
really?
she's
my sister's name is, we've always said Zotisha, but it's Zoticia.
wow. Look at that, Latashia. There's
It's
someone else like you.
Yeah.
So Ernestine gets out and she basically says, hey, I'm here to pick up my shirt. I said, well, I call her Tasha. I said, Tasha's not here right now. I said, but did you want to wait around for her? She should be here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah. So we just stood outside and just talked for a little bit. And that was it.
Yeah.
Well, come the funeral time, which was a different day. This was not the same day. We ended up with the family walking, with the family during the funeral, the family walks in together. Mm-hmm. And so we walked in together. Somehow. It wasn't intentional, but we walked in together during the funeral. And I just, I felt bad, obviously, because I lost my brother, but she also lost her brother.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was just trying to be there for her, too, in a little bit of a way. So anyway, long story short, I go back home to San Antonio, which is where I was living at the time. The funeral was in Fort Worth.
Yeah, and I lived in Fort Worth.
Okay. So Star Telegram, I don't know if they still have this. They have an online obituary where you can go and just leave some condolences or whatever on this online platform.
Yeah, and I was looking through all the different, crying, carrying on.
Yeah.
And then I came across his, and I was like, I felt like we clicked as far as like we had a lot in common. It felt like we're on the same age, stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me hit him up and let's stay connected. Let's keep talking.
Yeah.
So I decided to send him a message, and I was like, hey, I should have pulled up that message. I could read it. But I was like, hey,
I know what it says.
Oh, it's deep within his heart.
What did you say, ma'am? Tell the people.
I was like, hey, you know what? Being around Eric's family made me feel closer to him. I would love for us to stay connected.
Yeah.
That's
what she said.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She said, I would like for us to stay connected. And
I meant nothing by that.
Mm-hmm.
This was my brother's brother. So at the time, I was just like,
seemed family.
Yeah. Here's my question.
Oh Lord! See, this is where the story starts.
Getting into the mic, getting deep into the mic.
You don't need to lean into the mic.
Getting deep into the mic.
YouTube viewers.
Oh, it's sensual.
I want you to answer me this question. Who else did she reach out to?
Oh, Ernestine.
I guess there was more siblings, right?
There was more people involved. Did you reach out to? I'm not insinuating nothing.
I promise you, I did not. I was not trying to hit on him at the time.
All right,
but I guess he's still waiting for the answer.
But here's the thing. I'm not gonna make her answer that.
Okay. We can kind of just see.
No,
what
he's
happened.
gonna bring up another
I
question.
want
that he
that
always brings up.
answer.
But I want y'all to ask the young lady
Ask the
when she first saw me, what she said to herself.
As I pulled up,
Uh-huh.
and I saw the young man sitting on the porch.
Tell him what
Okay.
you said, daughter.
Okay.
I said, "Oh, that's a beautiful man."
So the
She said
family
beautiful.
dynamic kind of switched a little
No,
bit.
no. When I pulled up, I didn't. This was before we had. This was our.
You see my foot?
Yeah, it's going. It's going.
This is before all that talking and
Yeah.
where I said I felt like we clicked. This is when
Yeah.
I first pulled up to get a shirt. I was like, "Oh, that's a beautiful man."
Okay, gotcha.
And she said, "That's a beautiful man."
Beautiful is an
No,
intentional word.
You're saying it different from how I said it.
It's all in the
but
tone
it's
is
a
what you said.
word.
I didn't
But
say
before-
say
The
it.
word.
But here's the thing:
Uh-huh.
who casually calls somebody beautiful?
Well, you
And a
were.
man that when
He
it's
had
a
a little
when you,
mohawk.
when you say a man
That's
is
the mohawk.
beautiful,
Dog, you had the mohawk?
there's
I did have
something
a
different.
mohawk.
Okay.
There's
I
something
was a
different
very
when you
so
call
here's
a
the
man
thing,
beautiful.
y'all. Y'all always know me as a person that dress. I'm that person,
Yes.
but I have always been that person. I've always been very into just creativity when it comes to my fashion.
Yeah.
And so there was a phase where I went through a punk rock phase.
I need images.
I need pictures.
I need images.
We might throw some pictures up and let y'all see. But I was Chucks. I had the chains on my jeans
Wide
with the
leg
graphic
jeans?
tee. No, I didn't do the Jingas.
Oh.
No, what was it? Was it called Jinga? It wasn't Jinga.
It's a jingle gang.
Jinkos.
Jinkos,
I didn't
yeah.
do Jinkos.
I'm like, it's jingle gang.
That's a game.
I didn't do.
Did you shop at Spencer's?
I shopped at Spencer's and Hot Topic.
Oh, hot topic. I remember
Yes.
hot topic.
And when I tell you, I had the graphic tee with
Yeah.
the skinny slim jeans with the
Wow.
chucks,
Wow.
and I had the
Okay.
mohawk, and I literally got my hair done at a salon.
The hawk was done at the salon.
I got my mohawk done at the salon. Yes.
So like I was saying, when I pulled up, I said,
That's when you said that's a
I said,
beautiful
"Oh,
man.
that's a beautiful man."
Yeah.
And then I got out and I knew who he was
Mhm.
after we talked a little bit. And at no point during our conversation on the porch was I thinking more than I wasn't thinking what you're thinking. So
I'm listening.
I wasn't thinking what
So,
you're thinking.
so the
But
point
apparently
is,
somebody started thinking something.
we
At
ended
some
up
point.
we ended up staying in contact. Now, mind you, this was maybe so this was November when the funeral happened. January of 2007, me and my girlfriend break up.
Which I didn't know.
Had nothing to do with her, nothing. Like nothing.
We had been talking as friends, and I didn't know he had a girlfriend, and we weren't even trying to.
Yeah, but we weren't even really talking though at that point.
Yeah.
We weren't really communicating at that point. We did swap numbers and stuff, but
But
we weren't.
it wasn't like a.
Yeah, we didn't immediately jump up and be like, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And so in January, I broke up with my girlfriend. I let my friend convince me to break up with my girlfriend. That's a whole nother
I
story.
love my friend.
Which here's the thing: March comes around. Me and Ernestine now. Well, I'm sorry, we're talking, but it's very casual.
Yeah.
I invite her to come to San Antonio to go on a double date because I was talking to a Hispanic girl at the time because I knew without any shadow of a doubt I was gonna marry a Hispanic woman.
So that kind of reinforces what I was saying. For me to
You
be
weren't
going on
thinking.
double dates with you,
Or you could have just wanted to be in my presence.
that was not it.
I said could.
We started calling each other brother and sister
We were calling each other brother and sister.
to where
yes.
other people thought we were siblings because
Yeah.
that's the way we introduced
And so she would
ourselves.
come to town. She would drive 3.5 hours to come spend time with her.
No,
She
Don't-
started to snatch
don't.
air. Dawn. She started.
She snatched the air.
She's snatching hair.
that's not true.
Give that air back.
I was not trying to drive 3.5 hours because I wanted. Anyway,
No,
I
I'm
was
just
excited.
being funny. No, like it
I
was
was
a
excited
genuine.
about my double date.
Yeah, it was a genuine friendship. We
I
can't go into
was.
the details about the double date because it was we on air.
Okay,
But we'll tell y'all. But
offline. We'll
Yeah,
take it offline.
offline.
so I was talking to this Hispanic girl,
Uh-huh.
and so I ended up stopped talking to her because she was a little crazy, and so I ended up. But I liked
Why would you
crazy,
say that
but
about her on-
she don't know who I'm talking about.
It could be.
You know who she is.
She know who she is.
Why would you say
And
that?
I said, so I cut it off with her.
Uh-huh.
She was loony. She was loony. And so me and Ernestine around March timeframe. Now mind you, this is a very short period of time. March timeframe, me and Ernestine kind of start talking a lot more often.
Yeah,
And we realize, okay, maybe there's something here.
yeah.
And so we start talking a lot. Well, come to find out, when this young lady finds out that I'm talking to Ernestine now, remember, this is the same young lady I went on a double date with and introduced her as my sister.
So y'all looking kind of
So she's like, so you
Interesting.
broke up with me for your sister?
I can see why it would look like
I said,
that.
so this is why you don't tell people you play. unless you know y'all never gonna
Right.
date.
Exactly.
Because then you gotta explain yourself back out of that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Meanwhile, your mama and her daddy used to date anyway, and now
Yeah. So it looks like
it's, I mean, the
things
story
is
is
passing
stacking
down.
up. So here's
Yeah.
what happened. So November funeral, January I break up with my girlfriend. March me and her start talking. June we're engaged. December 1st we're married.
hold on, run that timeline back.
Yeah. 2006
Yeah.
November. Brother dies. We go to the funeral. We meet for the first time.
Wow.
March we start talking.
Yes.
March 2007.
June
Yeah.
2007. June we get engaged. December 1st we're married.
And we've been married 16
And
years.
it's 16 years.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Not without a fight.
Now let me tell you. Yes, just like what she just
Yeah.
said. Not without a fight.
Fight.
Yeah.
We discovered over the years so many things about ourselves
Yeah.
that we were not prepared for.
We were two unhealed people
Two
who
unhealed
got
people.
married.
And when you're unhealed, you see other people as healing mechanisms, but you see it through the wrong lens,
Yeah.
right? Now, I'm supposed to go to God and be healed and prepared for this woman when she comes to where we can be a full one,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? But we're still halves
Yep.
because we was half of one when we came into it.
Yeah.
Because we still were broken and hurt,
Yeah.
had a lot of insecurities.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, my mom, which I love my mama. Let me say this for the record. Mama, you was the best mama that you could be for us. She was single. She was in an abusive relationship. And it was a lot going on. But so I want to make sure I say this on the front end.
Yep.
That I am not mad at my mama. I love my mama. However, I had some issues and some traumas from my childhood
Yep.
that is just, and my kids will probably have some traumas that they'll come and talk to me about later because
Yeah.
we're not perfect.
Right.
Okay.
But I did grow up in an abusive household. I watched this man beat on my mom, and for a 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid, that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in that. My dad was a Christian man, so when my parents were together, it was a Christian home. When my parents got divorced, I started seeing my mom do things I had never seen before. She started smoking cigarettes. I was like, what the heck? We couldn't even watch the Smurfs. My dad was that Christian.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so now I'm in a household where I'm hearing cursing, people drinking, smoking cigarettes, and I'm not used to that. I'm like, we're living in the hood now.
Yeah.
When we was living on base housing, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad was in the military, so it's just, I'm like, as a child, I'm like, I want my dad back.
Yeah.
And my dad was and so my dad didn't just leave the city. I mean, my dad didn't just leave the house. He left the city when they divorced. So there was no text messages back then. There was no FaceTime. There was no emails. So when my dad left, our relationship dissolved, essentially. I would go some summers to see him, but it wasn't. I cried in my bed at night sometime. I just wanted my dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk more about that. But going back to my mom, so she did the best she could, but abusive relationship. And I remember the guy was abusive to me. He didn't like me. So he would beat on me. There's times where he just walked up to me. I'd be sitting in a chair like this. He'll just walk up to me, slap me in my face, and turn around and walk away. No reason, no explanation. And my mom, to my mom's defense, she didn't know a lot of that stuff was happening. But he was our babysitter when my mom worked graveyard shifts, so she worked overnight. He was our caregiver at night. So anyway, a lot of instances watching him abuse my mother. And so he got to a point to where in the 4th grade, I was living on Hazeline Road. I was looking out my window, and it was like an epiphany, and I believe it was the enemy. And by the enemy, I mean the devil. I think it was an evil influence. But as a 4th grader, I remember thinking, I don't like my mama. And I think what I internalized was I felt like she was the common denominator. She's letting this happen. She could leave this man and never go back to him again.
Yeah.
No matter how many times he says, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have did that. She let it happen. That's how I was thinking as a young kid. And I remember thinking like, okay. That's when I became rebellious. Now, mind you, being shot at, fighting in the street, doing all kinds of stuff I shouldn't have been doing, and I'm only 11, 12 years old.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Smoking weed on the front porch. I'm in middle school.
Yeah.
And I'm messing around with women, doing things in middle school. I would crucify my kids.
Not crucified.
But that's where I was introduced to porn
Yeah.
Yeah.
by my friends.
Yeah.
If you didn't have sex or if you were a virgin, in middle school, That was embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. Yeah.
He a virgin.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we probably all were.
Right.
Just making fun of each other.
Right.
But I did have experiences.
Yeah.
I did mess with a lot of girls. There's some things that was really rough we did in middle school with girls we didn't even know. Like, it was had some really crazy situations. But what I was doing, I didn't realize this until I was an adult. I was looking for my mama. I was looking for the woman that I said should have protected me. So anybody who shows me attention, I like that. She cares about me.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I didn't see it through the innocent eyes. I saw it through, it was all selfish. It was all, what's in it for me? Right? What you doing for me? What can I get out of this?
Yeah.
And so that started the journey of lust, being enslaved to women. There was a man that when I got in high school, there was a man that was a youth leader who took advantage of me. And I would say manipulated me in certain areas. And people will say, well, you're in high school, you should know better. I mean, when you're manipulated and you're embarrassed and you're ashamed and you get insecurity and like you don't know how to handle it, you're embarrassed, you don't want to tell nobody.
Right. And at the end of the day, you were a kid.
And I was a kid. You know what I mean? And so I remember telling my pastors, because I was struggling with suicidal thoughts. Wow. And I wanted to tell, I didn't like my pastors, by the way. I didn't feel like they were the greatest. But I was desperate. Yeah. And I remember I went to them crying my eyes out. And I wanted to, I said, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm struggling. And she said, well, it was the pastor's wife. She said, call me tonight. Call me. You have my number? I said, yeah. Called her. She made me stay on the phone with her like an hour and a half, telling every detail of every instance that happened. We'll go back real quick. So when he did that, what did you do? Like she made me, and I was like, when I'm telling you, my voice is trembling. Yeah. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, God, I don't want to. But in my mind, I just want to be healed. Yeah. I just don't want to struggle. And by the time we're not even married yet. Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm messing around with so many women, but I'm doing it because it's making me feel good about myself. Right. But I don't want that. Right. And so finally, we get off the phone. She says, I'm gonna let Pastor, I'm not gonna tell him. I'm gonna let y'all talk, so you can tell him, and he's gonna pray for you. And I was like, that's all I want. Well, a year passed, and nothing. And so I went and followed up, and got a meeting with him. I said, hey, a year ago or so, I had this conversation, and she mentioned that she wasn't gonna tell you, that she was gonna allow me to tell you, and I was like, did she tell you about that? He said, yeah. She told me about that. Immediately, now I'm even more wounded. Yeah. 2 reasons. First reason, she told me she wasn't going to tell you, that I was going to be able to tell you what was going on. Second thing that really hurt me, if you knew, why didn't you come get me? Yep. So now I'm struggling even more. Now, here I am, going through all this stuff, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Well, more of these stories will come out over time. Fast forward a couple of years. That was when that conversation happened when I was 22. So it was years after it happened, but I was still struggling with it. That's 22. 24, I'm getting married. In less than a year. Yeah. Just broke up with my girlfriend. That was my high school sweetheart in January. Her and I started talking in March. And we're engaged in June.
No time to heal.
No time to heal.
No time. And that's not even getting to all of my stuff. I know y'all still have to tell your love story.
I did not mean
although
this
doesn't sound like a love story. but
we promise though, different. God changed. Yeah. He turns it all for the good. And like we'll continue to this is just part 1. We'll continue on to this with the story, and I want Ernestine to share. This wasn't intentional for it to turn it into my story, but that's why I try to condense it. But I want you to be able to share too. This how I would say just share just your experiences, because we grew up in 2 different neighborhoods. Yeah. But your experiences coming up to that point of us getting married, and then we can save the marriage story. Yeah. Maybe the next episode or something.
So we'll get into what was going on in our actual marriage later.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So for me, I grew up with both of my parents in the household, and I felt like we just had the perfect family, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we didn't. I started hearing them arguing and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff. And then my father ended up leaving, and I don't want to put my father's business on Front Street, so I won't go into details of that with him leaving and stuff. But I felt abandoned, even though my father was still very much in my life. I still felt like he chose his other life over being with me. I now understand that was not the case and that he deserved to be happy too. But as a little kid, the way I saw it was my father abandoned me. And so I was looking for affirmation from someone. And then my step-grandfather, when I was about 8, he looked at me one day because I was always real skinny. So he looked at me one day and he was like, Ernestine, you're so skinny. You look like you're going to die. And so from that moment forward, to me, skinny meant unattractive. And so then it didn't help. I'm at school and people are calling me skinny, olive oil,
Chicken legs.
I mean, all kinds of stuff. I was like, okay. So to me, I was unattractive because of that. So I looked for affirmation from guys, but guys weren't trying to talk to me. So once I finally did graduate from high school and I'm in a little relationship, you know, I call everything little. Yeah. I'm in a little relationship or whatever.
No, let me tell you. Let's insert a pause right here. Black folks is gonna always minimize something you do. I see you with your little boots. I see you got a new little car. We gonna call everything little.
Yeah.
Proceed with your little story.
But yeah, so I was in a little relationship or whatever, and it was a terrible relationship, and it had all the red flags. Just like it. I mean, God could have been standing there doing this. And I just was ignoring all the flags. I mean, all of the flags. And so I ended up getting pregnant at 19, and I had my daughter at 20, and had to take care of her all by myself. I can recall getting paid, paying my bills, and having $20 left over for 2 weeks for diapers, milk, and food. So I'm eating off the dollar menu. This is back when a burger was actually $1.
Really?
Yeah. So
Bring them days back a little.
please. I mean, and I made the amount of money that I made. They said it wasn't enough to get like food stamps and stuff. So sister was on a struggle train, and I didn't want to burden my parents. So I was just struggling. They didn't know how much I was struggling. So then fast forward to him, and I'm in bad relationships leading up to him, you know, looking for someone to affirm me.
And even kind of abusive. I'm gonna let you tell your story, but some kind of abusive relationship.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. One of them was abusive, where when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was pushed down, stuff like that. And so, yeah, and I put myself in bad situations because I was looking for love in all the wrong places and not looking for love here. Yeah. And so, yeah, we come together and we were a hot mess. Yeah. And we can't wait to share
hot.
Yes.
I mean, imagine oatmeal fresh out off the fire. Hot mess.
Why oatmeal though?
Off the fire.
Because you know oatmeal hot.
It is very hot.
When
hot grits
the little
too.
bubbles popping through. You got the visual when I did this. When the bubbles is coming, you know it's hot. We was that kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Boiling hot mess.
Yeah.
But we're going to save that story for next time. But we want to know your journey, your story, the foundation of where, come on, get the corners right there. It's like,
I know. That's heavy. I can't wait to go deeper though. So many people will identify, I'm sure, with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned earlier, like that purpose piece. There was the reason the parents were not, because there was purpose between you two. And just thinking about Romans 8:28, like everything working together
for the good of those.
For the good of those. According to his purpose.
According to his purpose.
And now it's like, ooh, and just talk about the purpose that both of you guys have. It's like,
crazy thing. I'm sorry. You just sparked something in my mind when you talk about purpose. His purpose wasn't, they still had to meet.
Yeah.
They still had to connect. Like, in order for this to happen, and it doesn't stop here, because God is a God that's about lineage, right? It's not just about the one person. Yep. It's about my kids that are here that would never be here if me and her had never gotten together.
It wouldn't exist.
Yeah. Yep.
My kids would not be here if this hadn't happened. Anyway, go ahead.
And even another thought is, if our brother wouldn't have passed.
That's another thought.
That's a deep
There's
one.
Purpose in, don't talk about purpose in death. My brother had to die for this to happen.
My God.
Although that's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But my kids would not be here if he hadn't passed. We would not be sitting here ministering to people all over the world if he had not passed. The seed of death can bring so much life. We know about that through Jesus, right? I'm not comparing his death to Jesus, but the concept is the same. That there was a lot of us that none of us would be here if Jesus had not died,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, like we can find the pain in it. There's also purpose in it.
Absolutely.
Purpose through the pain.
Okay, we are truly done now.
You know, because my lips can flap.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Come on, flappity flap.
Yeah.
Oh yes, slappity slap slap.
That's it.
Oh gosh, y'all are so great.
Man. All right.
Oh, all right, Kadero, you ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
You ready? I'll let you start.
The truth then. Right?
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Oh,
No,
so y'all got two different versions too.
I think over the years we've meshed them
We've
together
done
to
well
get a
meshing together.
pretty
Yeah.
accurate
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
We've come to terms on some things.
Okay, terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So crazy thing is, Hope and I have known each other since middle school. So you're talking, I was 11, she was 12.
Wow.
And so we lived literally like 5 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
There was like one street that kind of where our houses were. I was on one side of the other. So we went to different elementary schools, but we went to the same middle and high school.
Wow.
Middle school, she said she had no clue who I was. I knew who she was. Which still surprises me.
Look at what she's pulling out that hair.
Yeah. But
I was to myself. I really wasn't out.
she did date like
Dang.
one guy that was like
Gallivanting.
we
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
yeah
I
we
wasn't
there
out
was
there
one
like
guy that she dated that we ran track together. So
I was about to say.
that was
Yeah.
kind of how I knew. And then we had the same circle of friends, but we never actually like met or talked to each other in middle school. High school, she's a year older, and so her 10th grade year, my 9th grade year, we actually had theater class together.
Hold on, but can we go back? Kind of similar to you guys. When we were kids, we went to the same church, but we never knew
That's
of each
true.
other.
So y'all was
Yeah.
around each other.
But we were
all
around
your
like in
lives.
passing.
Yeah.
Do you have memories of seeing him then?
No, I don't. we just
No,
know
because I never went to children's church.
I was always in
She was
children's
always
church.
in church.
he
I
tried to be
wanted to
grown.
stay.
Wait, church,
you doing?
church.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Trying
stay.
to be grown.
I stay here. I
These
was,
little bad kids outside,
Yeah.
outside running the neighborhood. You need to be in church.
I stayed at the big sanctuary with my mama.
The big
and-
sanctuary.
Yeah,
I was
the
in
big
the big
That's when you know you're a
sanctuary.
church kid.
Yeah, and I was in a little sanctuary.
No, we used to go to big church.
The big church. The big church. I was in big church. So yeah, we did. And then eventually I ended up going to a different church.
Yeah.
But yeah, high school, my 9th grade or 10th grade, we had a theater class together. So that's how we like officially met. And it was literally through that, you used to go in a circle and everybody had to say their name and a fun fact about them. And she always would say I was this loud, obnoxious kid
He was.
that I said my name. Meanwhile, she was the real soft-spoken.
He was the type. He was like, "Hey, yo, my name's Kadero. You know what I'm saying?
the
Number
hands.
22, deuce, deuce. You know
Deuce,
what I'm saying?
deuce.
All of that stuff.
Did I really do all this?
You had your jersey on that
I
day.
did.
Look at the
It
thumbs,
was-
how
That's
strong
what
they
I'm
are.
saying. Deuce, deuce.
It was
strong.
Friday. It was Thursday. We had football game, JV football.
Yeah.
And so I had my jersey on. You had
He
your
was feeling
cheerleading
himself.
outfit. And I was
Okay.
like,
But I
yo,
Come on,
Kadero
cheerleader.
Watson.
You
know what I'm saying?
Well, I wish we was that type of cheerleader. We wasn't that
Yeah.
type. We were.
No. Yeah.
Ready?
we was
Okay.
like-
Okay, got you. I'm tracking.
Yeah.
Now. I'm tracking.
Oh,
But kind of how we knew each other. We never was like, we didn't hang out much.
Yeah.
But it was funny because she had a stalker, like a legit like person. Like one day, like was told her how she looked nice in what she was wearing,
It was
and it
a
was
Sunday.
a Sunday.
We
so,
didn't have
like,
school. So how did you see me,
So
sir?
how did you know?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So there was one day we were in the bus loop going, like leaving to go home, and she's on the bus, and he's like in front of her bus, like kind of like trying to holler and talk to her, and he wanted to take her to the homecoming dance. And I can see
Wait, and this is high school?
this is high school.
Got you.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
high school. And so I'm coming down out of the school and I'm about to walk to my bus and I like see them. And I'm like, she just looks distressed. Like this dude is bothering me. And I remember coming up and I like wrapped my hand around him. And I knew him, like we played ball together. So me and him had known each other since like we were probably like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Because we played football together. And I was like, hey bro, like she can't go with you. And he was like, why not? I was like, well, cause she going with me. And she
This
was
sounds like a TV show of the 90s.
Don't it?
It do.
and so she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with him. Meanwhile,
to
she was
escape
like,
him.
we didn't
We
really
saw each
talk.
other, but we didn't talk.
We didn't talk like that. But she
But
was
he
like,
was an escape. out from this guy.
On, the first time he became your escape.
I was superhero. You know what I mean? I was a Superman from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that right?
I think he's stretching a little bit. I think he's stretching just a little bit.
So we decided, okay, we're gonna go to homecoming together. But in between that time, this is probably like September. October is usually when everything happens. She gets a boyfriend.
Wait a minute.
Why y'all supposed to be going to?
Okay. Let me explain. So the dude asked me out. We 14, 15 years old. You know, things didn't really matter.
I understand.
Back then.
I understand.
And I was like, he asked me out, and I was like, because at this point, we weren't really, like, talking. Like, we didn't really know each other. But we agreed that we go to homecoming together. But I still had my own life. Like, okay, we gonna go to this little dance. You know what I'm saying? Together. But I was like, well, I'm going to homecoming with somebody else. But if you still want to go out, then cool. He was like, yeah, all right, fine. So we ended up going.
They was dating. We still went out.
It was only about a week.
It was about 2 weeks. But they was dating while we went to the homecoming dance. And so while
wait.
They was dating, we went to homecoming.
So what
together.
old boy feel like knowing that you was going?
Well,
he said he was good.
He said he was good because I told him, I said, well, we can go out, but I have a date to homecoming already.
Okay.
And he was cool with that.
And we just cool. It's
At
not
this
like
point, we were just friends. Like, it wasn't anything like we were trying to do nothing.
But if you would have saw my man at the dance,
I mean,
he had big problems.
Was he like Mexican restaurant cheese salty?
Like, we had columns.
You know,
in
tortillas
our
be real salty.
Yeah, they do.
Depending on
my man would stand behind the column and be like this.
He was lurking, y'all.
So was he by him? He didn't have a date.
He didn't have a date. He came by and he would just.
So my man
he
is
would be
peekabooing behind the pillar.
Peekaboo from the pillar, watching us, watching our every move.
I mean, I think I literally felt like his breath on my neck at one point. I was like,
there was one. I think I let him dance with you at one point.
Y'all saw that.
Point. Just being nice.
I honestly was the person that, like, I didn't say no to date. Like, I felt like I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. So I was like, okay, sure.
Yo,
That's the same way we ended up together. Okay, sure.
Dang. Is that how she responded when you proposed? I mean, okay, sure.
Okay, sure.
I'll take your little hand in marriage.
That's how, man. I think about it, I'm trying to think.
I didn't say that.
So they break up. Then we start dating.
We can have later.
Yeah, like we have later. We start dating. We probably dated for about like a month or two.
That was long.
And that was long. Yeah. Then it came to this thing. I get a rumor that there's this other guy. Now let me say this. I was probably not Hope's type, right? In ninth grade, I'm probably about 5'7", 140 pounds, soaking wet, skinny. If that. Skinny dude.
She had to add.
She had to add. Hope's type was the basketball, the 6'3", 6'4" brothers, little meat on them. Mm-hmm. And so there was this brother that, you know, had the dread, the braids like Allen Iverson.
Oh, he had the Iverson braids.
Yeah, he had the Iverson braids, little that she wanted to date. And so she pretty much breaks it off with me.
Are you
sweet and try to
Daryl,
nicely?
No, we have agreed. See, now you going back on the story.
You breaching the contract,
You breaching the contract. See, because what he's not telling you is that there was this cheerleader that I used to cheer with that he was obsessed with.
Okay.
Obsessed?
And the thing is, she didn't give him the time of day, so...
She didn't give me the time of day.
No, you broke up with me to try to attempt a relationship.
You know what?
With her.
This sounds familiar.
And then there was...
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, you probably heard it. It's on socials.
Fine. It's on socials.
Yeah.
There's the agreement, ladies and gentlemen.
Really,
it's on there.
His feelings was hurt because he broke it off with me to try to pursue her, and she didn't want him.
Is that right?
Did she want you?
Is that right?
She did not want me.
Oh Lord,
she did not. And so because of that,
so we mutually decided that we were going to.
Okay, that is a different story.
Yeah.
Okay.
We mutually departed from each other, and we probably didn't talk. We saw each other, and said hi, and that was about it for the next year and a half.
Okay.
I had started dating this other girl from the church I was going to. You don't have to do all that. You ain't gotta do all that. She was she had her moments too.
Okay.
What does that mean, girl?
She slashed her tire one time.
Your tires?
The girl slashed your tires?
Yeah.
Shit.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but Cadero didn't already. We here now, so
Let me tell you something. If you're watching, if you slash my sister tie, you still owe her some money. I need you to run her little check.
Run me my little check.
Let's make sure we put your cash app on the screen at this time.
Let's put a cash
when
up.
we edit this.
Oh Lord.
Hilarious.
Yeah, she was a little interesting.
She was but I got past that. We was young.
Oh, now he brushing over.
Yeah,
the that's
brushing
fine.
over
That's
the
fine.
details of that
That's
one.
fine.
My junior year, her senior year, one of my good friends, her best friend wanted to go to prom together.
Mm-hmm.
We hooked them up,
Okay.
and that's kind of how we started talking again. And it was again just at least just chatting up. But then she graduated, kind of went about her way. I'm starting my senior year. At this point I'm cooling it. Like I'm like senior year, I'm going to college. I ain't messing with no. I ain't trying to get like locked down for nothing. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna have friends. That's what my thing. Like I was that guy.
Friends.
Right.
I was that guy. Like
Have them.
yeah, I was that guy. Like if you was in the cafeteria and it was a group of girls, I was probably in the middle, like everybody's
Same thing.
friend. So I was just
He's
that.
everybody's friend.
I was just the
And
friend.
this is what I put on my cape. And I said, let me save this little child here. So that's when I called
Oh,
him.
she put a cake.
Yeah,
Captain
he
Save 'em.
had his. Yeah, you had your little cape on. So I put my little cape on.
Oh, it was your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn to put on the
Yeah,
cape.
yeah.
So I called him up and I was like, hey, you want to grab lunch, whatever. Let's
Hold
go.
on. See how she just she tried to turn it as a cape. Meanwhile, we ain't talking that much. It's summertime. You're already graduated. I'm going into my senior year, and all of a sudden you call me up. Oh, you just happen to have my number. You remember my number.
Ooh.
When God
Asking
has
me
a
out.
purpose, he will download.
Oh.
Come on, purpose
Bringing
talk.
God in here, huh? Bringing God and purpose into
Huh?
it. All right.
Anyways, okay, so I dialed his little number. I said, you want to go?
Oh, got a little number.
Yes. Little
I said,
number.
you want to go to lunch? So we went to lunch, and we started talking a lot more. I was over his house almost all the time during the summer
Okay.
before college.
Now, was we holy?
No. Let's.
In the summer of 2004,
Let's
You
just
already
say-
gave me my answer. Finish the story.
You had to do all that.
Right. All that circling
We'll
around.
yeah, subtract the two,
Right.
carry the one.
Look, we had many times that we went to that salvation line at the end of church, and we was like, Lord, forgive us.
Salvation
I mean,
line.
I felt like I had to repent a lot.
rededicating.
Rededicate. Yeah.
I was already saved, but we had to go to the
I
rededication
knew about the
line.
rededication Sundays.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's facts.
So,
That's facts. So we started dating, officially like dating, 2005, April 2005. Yep. And so we've been rocking ever since. And then I ended up like leaving. So like majority of our relationship was long distance. Like our dating relation was long distance because I was in college in Pennsylvania and she was in Virginia. But she used to make that trek up to Pennsylvania to try to see me like every weekend. We was just talking about the other day, like she would get on the Greyhound bus.
Come on, Greyhound.
And,
That's
and
love.
just
Not the Greyhound,
There-
boy.
yeah,
I've been on them Greyhound buses, boy.
she used to get on the Greyhound to
God.
come see me. So there was a moment where like for me it was like, man, this girl is she the real deal.
So that's when you knew that she was.
It was that, and then the real moment is when I hurt my knee in my freshman year of college. And she came up and like just took care of me. Like she was going out in like the freezing cold, going to get food. She had to go get my medication. Like
I
she
took
was
it out. How I'm
taking.
gonna get there? I took the bus. I ain't got no way. So we call his little football buddies. Who got a car?
Why is everybody little?
Because now I done hopped on the little train.
We on the little train now. That's what it is. Everything little.
Yeah. So one of your teammates actually
Yeah,
took me to
so
the
she-
drugstore. To
Yeah.
get her.
Yeah. And so like she took, and that was one of the moments I was like, yeah, as what, 18, 19, like, yo, this girl's, she's the real deal. Like, I don't
Wow.
think I want to do life without her. While I said that, and I'm thinking that, there were times where in college, it was college, and it was still me acting a fool. And at that time, that's when Facebook and all them first came out. And most of the time I was sitting up on Facebook
Just posting.
posting
Other people
other
posting.
people posting, and
I
here
said,
I
let me
am.
dial this number as I see this picture.
Like
Wow.
this.
I said,
Oh, now,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
you saw a picture
Yeah, I saw a picture. I said, let me dial his number. Girl, what you doing up there?
Oh,
Because I'm in the
she
picture
saw
like,
the evidence.
hey.
Mouth open, tongue out. I said, my God. Like, looking back, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, there's still that respect factor that I wanted.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, too, it was like, okay, he's 19 in college. Like,
Yeah.
something was bound to.
But I took a trip around the world as well. My junior year, I studied abroad and went around. And when I came back, that was a moment. Like, I think there was a moment of like, yeah, like.
Where'd you study?
So it's called Semester at Sea, and you actually lived on a cruise ship for 3 months, and you go to 12 different countries.
You know, he don't do ships.
Let me tell you
You
what my
lost
dad.
them right there.
Hey, let me tell you what my dad used to say. I like my water in a glass. That's about it.
Yeah.
So there was
So-
a
3
lot
months
of
on
praying going
water.
on.
3 months on water.
Brother went to Carnival.
Went to Carnival in Brazil.
No, there was
What were they doing?
Shimmy, shimmy.
They had a lot less than I got on right now.
Things were seen, but I came back.
Things
Things
were
seen.
Things were seen.
Yeah.
Things were done. That we
Yeah.
can get into on other episodes. But I
Yes,
think
Yes.
most definitely.
I came back and knew like, yo, like it was time to get right.
Yeah.
And I actually bought the ring for her while I was away.
Okay.
And so it was a moment where we had like a church service that our pastor was talking about like refresh, renew, and we was talking about renewing our relationship. We was gonna renew it, and that's what I kind of proposed. And I actually proposed in the same spot that I asked her to be my girlfriend, and it was just in front of my mailbox. Because we always hung out at my house, so it was in front of my mailbox. And
Did you get down on one knee?
I
And do the whole
did.
thing?
I did. I actually gave her a promise ring
First
like
year
our
dating,
first year
right?
dating. And I act like I was taking that to clean it. And then when I was representing the promise ring after I cleaned it, was actually the engagement ring.
Wow.
And she said she didn't even say anything. So it did take a while to get the yes, actually.
She didn't.
She didn't say, it was more because she was
Shocked.
crying and
I
she
in
was
shock and
shocked.
Crying, you know.
And I was
Okay.
like, well, but it,
Brother was like, but
Brother was like, "Whoop."
he's like,
But-
so what is this?
well, we said yes. So we've been rocking. We'll be 15 years in June.
15 years. Can we celebrate that?
Yeah, we celebrate over 30 years right here.
Over 30
Over
years
30
of marriage
years.
here.
Right here.
Wow.
Dang, that's
Right here.
crazy.
And
we
we
getting
were-
old, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
for
You said
yourself.
holidays.
She said, "Speak for yourself." But wait a minute. So you
I
said
know.
April 2005 is when y'all started dating. So when did y'all get engaged?
2008.
June 2008.
And then how much longer?
June 2009. So I waited after I graduated
Yeah,
from college. I graduated in May. We got married in June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
The 30 years of y'all, this is 30 years of marriage right here. And I know we don't look it.
Oh, not at all.
I'm going to take that as long as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
30 years. Well, man, so look. So I think this concludes. I think this is a good conclusion of the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We
like
have so much more.
y'all have no idea
Tip of the iceberg.
how
Yeah.
much more is to like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
more. So next,
is.
I think it's safe to say the next episode we're going to continue on some of these stories and take them down this journey. But there's so much. It's not just going to be our stories, but it's going to be like experiences and how and tips and how you can. And also, I want to say this too: Instagram, social media. We're on social media. The Marriage Altaer.
Yeah.
Altaer.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage Altaer, where we're going to be giving you tips. How to grow in your marriage from a communication standpoint. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about infidelity. We're going to talk about love, care, intentionality. Like, we're going to talk about everything. And I want to say this too, and I might speak for myself, but I think it's safe to say for everybody, we're not counselors. We're not licensed marriage counselors. We're going to always push you and encourage you to see a marriage counselor. Find someone who is actually licensed to be able to help you with what you're going through. But what I will say is we are professionals in the realm of experience.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
experienced so much. We know what it feels like. So if you are watching this and you're like, I'm desperate. I'll come to y'all little YouTube channel and see if it'll help me. We can
Come on,
help
little
you
YouTube.
because we've been through it. There has been times
Yeah.
I have sat in bathroom stalls, depressed and crying, and
Yeah.
not even know why.
Yeah.
Because I was just that angry. There has been times where she has sat at home crying, miserable, not wanting to be married to me.
lying on the couch saying, God, please don't wake me up.
My God.
So there's so much more, and I know that the Watsons, they have a story as well, and so much experience to share. And so this is a journey, y'all. I know people say that, but this is a journey, and this is just the first step of the journey. And so I want you to stay watching, stay tuned in, stay plugged in. And because we say it all the time, or we're going to be saying it all the time, it's not just a podcast, it's a community. So you don't have to wait for the Wednesday drops of the episodes, right? We're on YouTube. We're going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, but we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok.
Facebook.
Yeah. If you got questions, you can even email us, info@themarriagealtar.us, info@themarriagealtar.us. If you got questions, we want to know your wins also. So the reason why we're dropping these episodes on Wednesday, and I said it in the beginning, it's not Wednesday the way we normally spell Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Winsday. Wednesday. This is an opportunity for you to share with us your wins. A win in your relationship with your spouse, a win in your relationship with your children, your neighbor, your job. We just want to hear your wins. Yeah. And we might even take a couple in the future and just call them out on air. We'll say, hey, Christy has a win for Wednesday, and that is whatever it is. And so,
but can I say that our win right now is that we just finished
our first episode. Hey. Turn up, baby.
It's surreal.
It's so
we're excited.
surreal.
And hey, special shout out to Isaiah, our engineer. Isaiah behind the scenes.
Love that.
Engineering this whole thing. He's switching live. Thank the Lord.
Praise
for
God.
Good people. And then a big shout out to Brandon Blue.
Yes.
He is actually the owner of the studio that we're using right now.
Yeah.
And he's been so kind and he's been so just accommodating.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I just wanted to make sure. So Blue Couch Studios. For those of you who are local to Tulsa, if you need a podcast studio, if you need a music studio, it's all inclusive. And so Blue Couch Studios. Anyway, any final thoughts as we end?
No.
We good?
I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys.
So tell the people what they need to do. I know I just did. So we had a whole plan coming into this thing.
No, we're flowing. We
had a whole plan.
It's totally fine. But just
so,
to reiterate what Don said, make sure you tell all of your friends. Make sure you check us out on all of our socials. We will be here next week, right?
Next week.
Yes.
And make sure that on YouTube, subscribe, right?
Yeah.
Like.
Hit that bell notification.
Hit the bell notification because we're going to be dropping content and we don't want you to accidentally forget. Sometimes your week get busy. You be like, Lord, Wednesday was yesterday. I missed it. I mean, you'll still be able to come find us, but we want you to get this stuff early.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. Because we might start talking about stuff on Instagram and you're like, wait a minute.
Right.
What y'all talking about?
Right.
You got to go with that part. But hey, until then, hey. We love y'all. And thank you so much for
come next week.
And
meet us at the altar.
Meet us at the altar.
Hey.
Hey.
Meet me at the altar.